Greetings and welcome from TBILISI Georgia. No one's watching yet. I didn't expect anyone to hop on because I just decided to come on for an hour, update a few things, see if anyone's out there who normally doesn't find me later. I assume people in Europe are conscious. America is just waking up. I don't know if I have many people from further east, although I did just get an Australian fellow named Samuel Hardy who gave 139 American dollars. And in fact, let's see what we're doing here. Things are getting spicy, they're getting good. So here's the thing, yesterday we had $3,500. And last night we made over $500. I do have the clock ticking, but the good news is we have a challenge grant for $2,500, which means once we get to the end, the $6,000, that money also kicks in. And the great thing about that is I'll probably need it because there's probably something, particularly with the weights being measured at the end, that I will need. But let me give you a little bit of, okay, no, I'll leave it as a mystery for a moment. I'll just say we left it last night with $4,155, which means we're getting very close to that $6,000 mark. When we get there, the other $2,500 will kick in. And that, I'm starting to actually feel like I'm going. So we will get there. That money will kick in. So let's play. I'm going to play you, since nobody's watching yet, I'm going to play you some Malicorne, Marie Yacoub, lead vocalist, singing Le Luneau, the Moons. Malicorne from France in the 1970s.
Je suis aveugle, on me plaint, et moi je plains tout le monde. Mes deux yeux ne sont plus pleins, car ils ont perdu leur bombe. Dans un malheur comme le mien, tu t'en moques. La chandelle ne vaut rien. Je me lève dès le matin, je m'en vais de village en village. L'un me donne un bout de pain, l'autre un morceau de fromage. Et quelquefois par hasard, tu t'en moques. Un petit morceau de lard. Je me moque du mercier, de toutes ces cassettes. Je n'use point de papier, encore moins de lunettes. J'ai pour peigne mes 10 doigts, tu t'en moques. Mes 2 manches pour mouchoir. J'ai mon chien et mon bâton, mes deux compagnons fidèles. L'un me mène à tâtons, l'autre au bout d'une ficelle. N'aimeriez-vous pas bien mieux? Tu t'en moques. C'est de guide que deux yeux. Si jamais me venait un fils dans cette agréable ville, je prierais bien le bon Dieu, aussi la Vierge Marie, qu'il lui crève les deux yeux. Tu t'en moques. Pour en faire un vieux lumineux.
Okay, wow, welcome back. As I said in my little intro, which I'm sure no one saw because no one was expecting me, no one expects me. Let's do a little bit of updating here. So, when last we saw late into my evening yesterday, which I don't know where we are in your time zone, you can tell me. But let's look at the big board. We had $4,155. Matthew Lamp was the last person to give. Ira Katz gave $50, which brought us up to $4,205. Mary gave $100 at $4,305. And then Samuel gave, is my math wrong? Yes, it is. Samuel gave $130, which is brings us to four. I just realized my math is wrong. It's got to end with a 5. So that we'll say $4,445. It may be 35. I'll have to go back and check. Anyway, that is pretty good. We are trying to get to $6,000. So we're certainly less than $2,000 away. We're almost $1,500 away. I am just coming on for an hour to do this and see if there's any other goodwill out there for this project, because I can't stop doing it till I get it. But yeah, so I figured I'd come on at an odd time and see if I can pick up some people who don't normally come. Usually I do this around 10 or 11 at night, and that's quite a ways off from 4 o'clock in my afternoon. So if you're a person who doesn't normally follow, can't usually make the live streams, but you are now, this is a great time to give. And we do have links down below in the for GoFundMe, which is particularly good if you're from certain countries, or you don't even have a YouTube connection. Although I don't know how you found this, but you could probably watch this without me. But how would you have found it? Or use the PayPal link in the description below. And that's good. And keep in mind that we do have, let's see. Okay, show the chat. I hadn't been watching to see if anyone's trying to communicate with me. Hey, Dejin, 7 in the morning. Yeah, I figured it would be nice and early in on the East Coast. Too early for California, but good enough that we might, pick up some people who maybe have a couple hours off in the morning and want to say, "Oh yeah, I need to give to Burn." So we do have the Georgian music files, 50 for our $50. These are rare, beautiful, hard to find music. I've got a couple of pieces lined up here. And if you gave 100, you get 100 files, all the way up to, we have packets of 50 up to 200. And yeah, so that's where we are. We actually, let me do my mathematics because I am so dumb. Well, actually, what's happening is while I'm in the middle of doing all this stuff, hold on, I got to do that differently. 3,000. Oh no, 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 I was right. No, I wasn't. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So it's yeah, it's 45. We'll call it. So we have $4,445, and that sounds pretty good. And like I said, once we get to the end, there's another wonderful matching grant of $2,500, which will mesh with the last 200 and $2,500, which we started back at 3,500. So we are close. We're closing in. We have about a little over 1,500 to go, 1,555, and we're there. Which, on one level, if you're just saying, "Oh, I haven't got that in my pocket," you don't have to. You don't have to do it all. Someone else has that money. So let's play a little bit of the Georgian music. Dejin said hello. If you want to say hello, feel free. If you have a question, feel free. I'll only be doing this for an hour. It's just a quick pop on, pop off. But let's hear the Georgian version of the Radiohead song, and do that. We'll be. Dejin asked, is that a Georgian song? No, that's by the group Radiohead originally doing the song Everything in Its Right Place. But that's a very Georgian take on it. And Georgian songs always have these polyphonic harmonies that go all over the place. And so it makes an interesting interpretation. And that is a song I know I have scraped off the sound for that and made a music file for it. It's somewhere in the music files. I don't know where. So, yeah. So we're doing well. Today, I sat there and crunched the numbers. I know we're going to get the final $1,500 here, which will then kick in the $2,500 matching gift, which means, I'm there. And I crunched the numbers, and for the first time in this whole thing, I felt like this is going to happen. The only thing that is really making me wonder anything is I have yet to get the official bill for what it's going to cost me, and that is the Georgian company is also contacting. They have to obviously hook up. They're contacting the company is actually in Alaska, in Seattle, Washington, in America, to bring my barge down. And of course, I got hit with this. The reason I'm doing the emergency funds, because instead of it being $2,000, I thought at most $3,000. It was really $7,500. I was just like, but we're making it. We're going to do it. I can see it happening. There's more goodwill out there. We will get to $6,000. Only $1,555 away. But here's the thing. I looked finally at my how much I had, and I said, okay, we've got it. I've got it. I had already bought the plane tickets because I couldn't wait till this late to buy them. And I also have gotten in touch with different people. I still don't know where I'm staying in Alaska, but someone will put me up. But I did have to spend $200 for one night, less than 6 hours in Juneau, Alaska. For some reason, all the prices on hotels have gone up ridiculously there. And then, what was the other thing? I had to buy 3 nights in London, about $60 a night, and that was important because London's a big city. But interestingly enough, you can find cheaper places in London than New York City. And they're comparable, obviously, in terms of size. Paris is kind of midway between them, but you can also find cheaper places in Paris than New York. But here's the weird thing: you can find cheaper places in London by, what, 200% than Juneau, Alaska, and Haines, Alaska was just insane. I looked up. There's a place called the Captain's Choice Motel, and I looked it up, and it was $169 a night for 8 nights, $1,300. I was just like, well, I'm not doing that. I will sleep on someone's floor before I do that. I just haven't got that kind of money. I'm trying to save every dime I can. If I get this extra matching money, that's not exactly going into my pocket. That's probably going to disappear down some, hole here, which is why I'm going all the way to 6,000 and to bring it in. But I also got in touch with in Brussels. I did buy a train ticket to go under. I think I may have explained this, but I will again. To the round trip ticket from Paris to Seattle, of which I will get out and spend a couple of nights with my only relatives there. They will be, I thought about that, and then I said, I need to visit some friends in London. So I suddenly thought to myself, well, okay, I'll do that. And so I bought British Airways, Paris to Seattle, wait about 10 days, and then Seattle back to Paris. And I thought, okay, well, that's about $800. Then I said, actually, let me stop in London. So I got it there, checked the amount, and it's like $2,500 or $2,300. And I was going like, what is going on with these people? So I decided to not do that and just simply do the Paris round trip for 800 and get out in London. Just make sure I get you have to do more online filing now before you travel in Europe. You can't just show up. You have to make sure I can't remember what the name of it is, but you have to fill in forms. And I already discovered that about England when I wanted to leave the country and go into Europe on the train under the English Channel. So I then got that price, which was about $100 and some odd, and not too bad, but still a whole lot cheaper than going to London. Even though I'm going to London, it's literally the exact same planes, and I'm getting off. I would have to get off anyway in London and change planes, but literally, it's the exact same planes. And it's about $1,500 cheaper, the advanced level travel. So, but anyway, in Brussels, I will be there. Brussels has the oldest puppet theater in Europe. The Tone looks like Toon, but Tone Marionette Theater. And I've been there several times. My friend Nicolas Géal runs it. His father ran it before him. He's considered Tone number, I think it's 8. His father was number 7. And he's probably around 40 or so, 40, 45. He's a really interesting guy. But the nice thing is they have a separate building right next to the theater that is like 5 stories tall. And you have this amazing circular stairway, a wooden circular stairway going to the top. And I have an apartment for me there. And so I don't have to pay anything. So they do that for puppeteers. So I just contacted him, got a message saying, great, we'll see you. Just let us know right before you come. We'll have the keys ready. So there you go. And I'll see my other friend, Dimitri Jagano, there, who has another theater. So that'll be a nice 3 days there. Then I'm taking the train from Brussels down to Lyon in the middle of France, where I will stay for 8 days or 7 days with my friend, some French puppeteer people. And then I will go back to Paris. I'm not sure who I'm staying with there, but I've got the tickets for all of that. And then on the 4th of March, I'm flying back to Tbilisi, but I have an 18-hour layover in Athens. So I'm going to see if John Halley is available. Anyway, that's what's going on. We now only need $1,555 to finish this whole thing up. We could do it tonight. Right now, this is just me coming on for an hour, just updating you and seeing if there's anybody out there who would like to give a little more, someone who won't be able to come later this evening. Let's play another Georgian song. This is the Trio Mandili, 3 girls doing a song called Enguro, 3 girls, Georgian girls, who became pretty well known when one of their videos of them walking around and singing became viral and had hundreds of thousands of views. So this is them doing another song, walking and singing, Trio Mandili. And we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
عمدني خنيس مولودين مقولي دغلا مشن قامي جبتشي مو انقرو قال ما خبري سامبلا بلو انقرو انقارا مشن قامي جبتشي مو انقرو قال ما خبري سامبلا بلو انقرو انقارا Lexit maqwe bidat amoval daminda butwara am siqvaruli tvervete vitsaro angara shenegami gebche boenguro kalama khabi sampla plovelo en guronegara Meshenegami gebechemo en guro Kalamachabi sam plovelo en guronegara Amadeni khani samolodina maguli dagala Shenelodin shim kebzet ovli upadam denara Meshenegami gebechemo en guro Kalamachabi sam plovelo en guronegara Meshenegami gebechemo en guro Kalamachabi sam plovelo en guronegara en guronegara God.
Okay, so by the way, links below, PayPal and GoFundMe. Anybody there want to say hello or ask a question? I am here till the top of the hour, a little over a half hour from now. I've got one more song, and yeah, this is just me. We had 3 gifts, one from Ira Katz, another one from Mary Schuberts, and then Samuel Hardy. Samuel is from Australia, so I've had a few Australians, which is nice. And it's interesting to think of, you know, I'm talking here, and then it goes out into outer space somewhere, hits a satellite, ricochets off maybe another satellite, and then ends up in Australia. But then again, if you call a friend who's standing next to you, the same thing happens. You know, if I want to talk to someone in the next room, I get on the phone, I call, it goes way up into space and then comes down, which is really strange. I think we're going to eventually, I don't know what we're going to do. We're, you know, remember when people used to actually talk to each other? And that is a problem that younger people are facing. They don't like talking on the phone. When I was young, we loved to like hang around on the phone. If you watch older movies, you'll see kids like, you know, laying on their bed, legs on the wall, leaning back, talking on the phone to their friends. You know, it was just talking on the phone was just really a great thing to do, very important thing to do. But now that's almost considered too personal. People don't like doing it as much. I do have friends who called me. The show yesterday got interrupted by my French friend Paulette, who wanted to know where to give the money, and she wasn't actually listening because she's not very well connected. She's a puppeteer. Puppeteers have a kind of a natural inclination to be a bit suspicious of all this digital stuff, for good reason. And so she called me up, but I have talked to her on the phone in, you know, recent memory, not in the last couple of months, and because she doesn't live on the smartphone. In fact, I gave her a smartphone that was kind of like acting up, and she just kind of let it die because it doesn't matter to her. But this whole thing of adding visuals to everything, I think music took a big hit back in the 80s when MTV showed up and everyone started applying the video imagery with certain music. Not that music videos are bad, but rather as it became more common, it became more, then you ceased thinking about the group playing and started thinking more about this fantasy. So let's see. What else should I talk about? If you have anything you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. I can drone on. I've got plenty to talk about. But someone said, Bern, you should do a puppet show for everyone online. And I'm thinking about, now, how would I do that? I'd have to pre-record it. It would have to be very short. I might do something like that. But let me see. So yeah, we're 1,500 off. The nice thing is I now feel like the whole trip is laid out. And the only thing I'm waiting for is to find out the final price, which may come tomorrow or the next day. And like I said, February 21st is the deadline. As soon as I find out from these people, I've got to pay as soon as possible because of the time it will take for the container, the international, what they call intermodal container, to go from Seattle to Haines, Alaska, up the coast. By the way, if you don't know where Haines is, you should look it up on a map. Just type in Haines, Alaska, look at the map, and then back out from it. And what you'll discover is it is a long way from anywhere. And I really liked living there, but I got the feeling that just as eagles pull all the soft feathers and leaves out of a nest to get the young eagles to fly, that's what was happening to me in Alaska. I think God was doing that. It was just like things became less and less comfortable, and it was time to go. I wasn't running, but it just felt like, my mother died in 2015. I took a trip to Georgia in early 2016. I didn't decide to move there then, but then I came back to Alaska. 20, my cat died at the end of 2017 or 2016, which was kind of a sad event, but not as sad as my mother's death, of course. But then other things were happening. I won't go into all of them, but the next big thing was that I had been renting this place. It was huge. It was like 5 bedrooms worth of space, perfect for my library and for doing puppets and stuff like that. Um, and and the price was low, and then it was sold out from under me, and I had 6 months to get out. And I thought about that during the summer, and I said, well, and I'd seen one of the people I had visited in Georgia had an Airbnb apartment that she wanted to rent for like $20 a night. Now, if you heard what I just said about how much the rental is nightly cost in Juneau, you realize that $20 a night sounded like they're practically giving the apartment away. Later, after I was here, moved here, I realized, I should have looked for $10 a night. But now it's more like $30 a night for the lower seats. Things have moved up a little, but that's obviously still pretty economical. So what I did was I thought about that, and I said, and I did my homework. How much money do I have? And I said, yeah, okay, I could spend 3 months there, and I could pay for that with what I'm making during the winter here, plus, and have plenty left over. And then I thought about traveling, doing more on my Gravity from Above project. So I thought about that, and I went to I decided to visit people in different places. So I had a place to stay in Paris. I stayed there a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Same with Lyon. I went to Le Brie in Switzerland for about 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember exactly how long. And then I went to Brussels. I stayed like 4 or 5 days there in the apartment I was just mentioning. And by the time I was done calculating all that, I was like, oh, another week or so, and I've got it. So that's when I decided. This was 27, coming up to the end of 2017. It was going to be in the fall of 2017. So what I did was I decided to go to Italy. I'd never been to Italy, and I decided to go to Palermo, which I knew was one of the homes of Sicilian marionettes. And that was such a good decision. I also went to Rome for the first time, and I liked Rome. How could you not like Rome? But it was very crowded, very touristic. I was even there right at the end of November, beginning of December. But as I was there, I thought, well, actually, if you said to me, well, Bern, we're going to give you a ticket, and you can go to either Rome or Palermo for a week. Where would you like to go? I was like, Palermo. That was such an interesting town. And actually, I think late November was a perfect time for me there because it was still warm. But certainly by Alaskan standards, it was still summer. But by their standards, they were walking around, oh, it's like 5 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius, which is nothing as far as cold goes. So I really liked it there. I liked, especially they have what I consider the best puppet museum in Europe there. They also have a great Sicilian marionettes, and I read this very great kind of hale and hearty Sicilian marionettist Enzo Mancuso, and he was just and he said to me, "I like you. You're like me, fat." He didn't say that directly. He said it through a translator, but lots of fun, lots of just he said, I'm going to buy you. He's told his friends, go buy him a cappuccino. It was in the morning, and of course, they do cappuccinos very different than we do, certainly through the chains like Starbucks, and they have a rule: you don't drink one after noon. It's just like that's a rule. Americans don't know anything about rules of coffee drinking, except can I get more? How late at night can I drink this and stay awake all night? And I don't drink that much coffee. If I have 1 or 2 cups a year, that's a lot. So, but I said I got to try this. So I had it, and it was great. And I really liked what I really liked about Palermo was very interesting architecture, very interesting vibe among the people. That's in Sicily. Down at the bottom, it's the football at the end of the boot. And the way I got there was on a 26-hour ferry ride from Genoa down to Palermo. And it was a very strange, it felt like a haunted craft almost. It was a very big ferry, and largely empty except for all the stuff that was in the hull. But when I got there, one of the things that I mean, there were things I hadn't seen in years. I hadn't seen a banyan tree since I lived in Hawaii for 4 years as a kid. And there were these big banyan trees. There was one that was massive. And that was impressive. But when I was in Palermo, they had one of the most haunted attractions I've ever seen, and that was the Capuchin catacombs, where they've got about, according to the thing, they've got 6,000 corpses there, and many of them are just hung up on the sides of the wall. When I say hung up, I don't mean the skeletons are hung up. I mean the people are up there and they dried on the walls. And this was a thing for hundreds of years. It started with these Capuchin monks, and they just decided that was the way to preserve the body for some reason. And eventually, people in the town all came in and says, "Yeah, I'd like to hang next to Giuseppe." And you'd see these people, like some woman, you'd say, "Gosh, what was she like to me?" Because you could still see her. And there were moments just walking around there, you could just feel I am in the presence of death, and I'm also in the presence of beauty. It's a very strange thing. I highly recommend. That's like a good reason to go to Palermo all by itself. The puppets being icing, and there's a church there that's a Moorish Viking, Moorish Norman church. Fascinating. Anyway, I'm going to play another song in a moment here, just to keep in mind what we're doing. We are raising money to get me to go from to get my library, 6,000 kilos, 12,000 pounds of massive library. And I think the library weighs about 10,000. Then there's extra stuff. And what I'm hoping to get it all there. I'm feeling better about it now. I am waiting to see the final, the bill, which both companies will present together as one from the Georgian company. They're working on it, and I'm going to find out probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. And then it's going to be time, I've got all this money sitting around waiting to go, and then it's going to disappear. So all this money, it's just like, yeah, my bank account's feeling better. And then it's just going to poof, be gone, except for, fortunately, I've already paid for a lot of aspects of the trip. But the good news is when we get to $6,000, we are now at $4,445. When we get to $6,000, another $2,500 will kick in of matching money. And that will finally let me feel like, okay, I think I can do this. And there's only 2 things. Once I get the bill and find out, I'm hoping it's not more than I figured. You never know with this stuff, which is why, the next thing I'm kind of waiting for is to get the final bill in a couple of days of what it's going to be. But, and then the next thing is when they weigh the container, because obviously I don't really know how much everything weighs. And I'm afraid it's going to be much more than I thought. And then I'll have to pay another $1,000 or so. But the good thing is with that other money kicking in at the end, I feel confident that even if that does happen, I will survive. So, but my first moment of truth will be in a couple of days when I get the bill for the whole thing. Then the last thing will be when in 3 months when they finally bring it here to find out what the customs actually is, which could be okay or could be horrible. So we will see. Well, okay, let's play another Georgian song. This is the Jevania family doing this song. And family singing is still quite a thing here. And I mean, quite frankly, the smartphone is kind of eating it up a bit. But let's play that, and then I'll come back and we'll spend another 15 minutes, and I will go. This is just to update things, to let you know how things are doing. And then after that, tonight at 10 o'clock my time, in other words, let's see, it's not 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more hours after I quit this, I will be back on for the serious stuff. And I'll go for 2 or 3, probably 3 hours, because I've got to do it. And I find that people in the US start really coming on later. And then I also get the entire coast. And I want the coast, don't you? Here's the Jevania family. If you want to give, there are links below for PayPal or GoFundMe. We now need $1,555. And then we're done. Let's do it. That's a beautiful song. And obviously it's from some video image, probably over 20 years old or so. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, so here we are. I've got another 15 minutes and then I'm done with this. And then I will come back in 5 hours for the main event. And I have to come up with something to make it interesting. And I'm trying to think of what. anyone listening who wants to ask a question, feel free. I'm going to leave this on afterwards for a couple of days so other people can listen to the music and hear the update on the journey. But so let's see, what else is there? Since I've got 15 minutes to talk, I have no more music. I used all the music that I wanted to on this, but that's good. I can talk. Evidently, I feel like I've been talking for almost 3 months now. I started this like really at the tail end. I think it was the 24th of November, and around then. And now I am. It's been almost 3 months. But gosh, when this is done, it will be around $20,000, and that I brought in. And and that just feels like I can do it. It doesn't feel like, oh, great, I made a bunch of money on this at all. Like I say, if I take this trip even as is, I don't think I'm coming back with, much money to spare. I mean, and there's a good chance, like I said, down the road, there will be customs to deal with. Down the road, I don't know what the weighing in of the container will be. And in 2 days, I don't know what they will charge me for the actual bill. There's always these hidden things that you don't see at the time. Well, what should I talk about? Well, like I said, I am now for the first time thinking I'm actually doing this. Even though I bought tickets, even though I've contacted people and I will be staying with them, I'm just now feeling, oh, this is actually going to happen. Because even with the, when I heard oh, you were wrong, it wasn't 2,000, it was 7,500, I was like, oh, and literally for an hour, I was just like, I couldn't even think about it. It was like I just hit some brick wall and went, pow. But then as we started doing this, I started feeling like, yeah, we're going to make it. And we will get the last $1,500. And like I said, the reason I wanted to come on was simply to tell you what's going on. And looks like only one person watching right now. So I think I've given you the update. There's no sense in me just talking and talking. And I'd like to thank you one last time. There are links down below for PayPal or for GoFundMe. Let me check the GoFundMe site. It doesn't automatically tell me what's going on. And it's the same. So thanks for being there. I hope you enjoyed the music and hope you enjoyed the update. We did have 3 people give, and means we now only need $1,555. And when we hit that $6,000, the other $2,500 matching money will also appear, and we'll be successful. So thanks a lot. I'll be back later tonight, a little over 5 hours from now. Nakwamdis Droibit.